Martin from Agrison here again. We've done a video recently on DIY Bokashi buckets, and we thought we'd talk our way through Bokashi bran and how to make Bokashi bran. So one of the key things when we're looking at Bokashi bran, and for people that don't understand what Bokashi bran is the activator for the Bokashi process in the system. People have started asking me about other things they can use, and one of the ones that I would like to just show you today is coffee grounds. Now, coffee grounds from a machine like this obviously come out of the coffee machine. The only problem that you have with coffee grinds is you need to make sure that they are dry. So whatever carrier you're using, you need to make sure they're dry. And the reason being is that if you are leaving them wet, you may get mold spores that are not suitable for the process. So really simply, when you're using the coffee grounds, make sure you put them out into a nice level area, dry them as best you can, and then you'll have something like this. So here we have 200 grams of coffee grounds. We will also need 100 ml of tepid water. We will need 1 ml of EM1, that's the dormant product that we sell to make the Bokashi bran. And we need to give a food source for the microbes, so we need to have some sugarcane molasses. All available on our website. And we also will need some kind of bag to then seal the Bokashi bran, or the coffee as we're now going to call it, into that system. Now, as a system, we just need to make sure that we are mixing it well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just open the EM1. As I said, this is a small amount. Our recipe will be available on our website. So we've obviously reduced it down to, normally we do this in like 20 kilogram bags, but we're going to do it in a small amount. So we're going to use a teaspoon of EM1 into there. And we'll also then need a teaspoon of sugarcane molasses as well. Very sticky stuff. And we're going to give that a mix inside. So the reason why we use tepid water is to make sure the sugarcane molasses is nicely mixed in there. And all we're going to do is we're going to then drop our coffee grinds into our mixture. And now this is the most important bit, is to give it a good mix. Now, in this process, and what's happening is the sugarcane molasses is giving food sources to the EM1, so the actual dormant microorganisms, and then the carrier, which is coffee, is got a carbon to nitrogen ratio. So Bokashi uses a very similar system to composting. So what we're looking for is a 20:1 carbon to nitrogen ratio as a carrier. That's normally why we use wheat bran. With this, we're using coffee, which will give you the same kind of percentage, 20:1. So as you can see here, that's nicely mixed inside, and you have something like this. Now, we need to make sure this is anaerobic. The last thing we want to do is leave it open like this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add it to our bag. Make sure that we get all of it in our bag. And the most important part is, when we finish this, make sure that all the air, as much as we can out the system, is then taken out. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie knots in that to make sure no air gets to it. So obviously this is quite a small amount. I would normally do a larger amount, say maybe 1 kilo in that process. So we're going to keep this to ferment for roughly 7 days. After 7 days, I'm going to open it up, just have a smell of it, just make sure that it's working. So you should be smelling a sweet, yeasty kind of smell from there. And then in 14 days, that is then ready to be used. Now, just a word of caution, if it is very wet, I would highly suggest drying it out. Now, the same process when it comes to pre-bought and ones you're making yourself. If you are drying out, make sure that you dry it out in a nice area. Air drying is the best way to do it, but also think about how much bran you're going to then use in the process afterwards. Now, obviously, we use our Bokashi bran in a lab environment, so we can control how many microbes are in this process. This is a real DIY version, so if you do keep it wet and you keep it open to the elements, the microbes that we use in here are facultative, so they could then run out of food sources and create mold that we don't want. So drying out is a good suggestion, and then when it's dried out, you can keep it for roughly about a year, but you will need to use more than you would if you bought it from us directly. Now, obviously with DIY systems, the great thing about this is that we are taking a waste product, which is obviously from our coffee machine, and we'll make it into resource. If you do need any more information from us, give us an email or go to our website, agriton.co.uk. Thank you.